Using Mongo shell interface. MongoDB also comes with an interactive JavaScript interface called Mongo Shell that lets you interact with MongoDB via the command line interface. There are roughly about 250 or more Mongo Shell commands or functions that span over 14 different categories, including database, collection, cursor, and user, and so on. And here is a list of some of the most common collection methods used in most app developments. Although we won't be exploring all of them in this course, it's absolutely important and worthwhile to explore them and know their purpose. So let's go over to the PowerShell interface and explore some of these commands. So here I'm using PowerShell. You can use any terminal command or interface, it's fine. It just has a nicer interface, that's all. So to go into Mongo Shell, you just type the word Mongo and hit enter. Okay, so here is the Mongo Shell version 4.2.6. We are now in Mongo Shell with the cursor blinking on the left here. We can start typing some commands. One of the commands you want to use is called db. This is a special object that always points to the current database. So as you can see, by default, it uses this database called test, which we did not see in the Mongo Compass earlier in the previous video. Now, in previous version of Mongo, I think like version 3 or so, the local was the default database, but now it's the test. And the reason why you didn't see that in the list is because it has no data. Okay, so a database can exist without any data, and just to show that it's no data, that means there's no collection. So to show the collections, you can type the word show followed by the word collections, and it will tell you if there are any collections in this database. So in this case, there's none. Okay, so if you want to show what databases are currently in the Mongo database as an instance, you just type the word show in the DBS for databases, and you list there 4 of them, including the test, which you do not see here. So we have the demo D there, that's the one that we did earlier. We can just go and then go into that database to use it. You just type the word use space followed by the name of that database. So demo DB. And now it says we switched over to the DB demo DB now. So if you type DB and hit enter, you see that has been changed to that as well. Okay, so to make these function calls in here, you cannot use the demo DB directly as you see here. You have to go through the DB object. So to show the collections inside this database, just type show collections again. The current database has one collection called demo. Now we want to see how many records or documents in that demo collection. You just type db using this is a JavaScript notation. So db dot demo, the collection dot count function returns the number of records or documents in that collection. So there are 100 of them. It only returns the top level documents. Any nested or embedded documents would not be shown here. Okay, so there are 100 of them. So if you want to see what's in those documents, you use the find function. So db.demo.find, and find is a function. Inside here takes two things. One object is the filter. The second is the projection, right? The fields that I want to return. If I do that, if I do a count, and you see that it returns 100, same as we had. That means look for everything and return everything. Same thing as saying select everything from a demo. That's what it means, right? Include all the fields and no filter here. If you want to return just the return everything, just like that, hit enter, and it returns a huge set of data. And on the very bottom, kind of hard to see, you see there's a word IT here. Type it for more. What that means is if you scroll up just a little bit, so you can see that this doesn't look like 100, right? So if you were to count these individual records, you see that there's 20 of them. Like we show in the previous video, a MongoDB Compass is 20 per set. So the find function returns a cursor, and the cursor produces this, and this interface shows you the 20 records at a time. So if you want to see the next 20, you could type the word IT here, and it will move the cursor to the next 20 until you find all of them. So you keep doing that until you find the end of that list. And then now we're done. So that's kind of ugly to see here. Okay, if you want to see this in something that it's easier to see, like in JSON notation, then you can go back and say you can use the function called .pretty, and if you do that, it will prettify it for you. Again, this is just the first 20. Okay, and if you type IT again, it shows the next one, and so on. Okay, so if you want to show all at once, then you want to use a function called toArray. This will return all 100 of them at once. Okay, so if you scroll up, you see this, it's going to be all of them, it's a lot of them. So that's a find command. So if you want to do a filter, then the first part here is the filter. So say again, I want all the age of 30, exactly 30. Then that returns all those for you. There are only 2 of them from here to here. So two records. And you can do like we did earlier, all the ages greater than 30, right? So let me just go here and say all the ages greater than or equal to 30. Now it's going to give you a lot. And before I do array, I just don't do the count. And it's going to give us, I did not complete my syntax. Yeah, I missed one of the curlies here. Let's try again. Greater than 30. Yeah, I missed one of the curly braces. So I didn't do the count either. Let's do one more time. And so there are 88 of them. All right. Okay, so that is, and I can clear my screen. Let's clear my screen. That's defined. If you want to return only a certain field, then you put the second block of object here, the second document. This is the projection, and I think you just put the fields in here. Let's see. So I want the first name to be true, and I want the last name, and also want the age. So now just give me all of those and make that to array. And I just want to show the top, maybe the first 2, I guess. Okay. So I have to do a limit first. Yeah, limit first, and then to array. Okay, so here I have 2 of them, again, because I did not suppress the ID, so ID field counts by default. So I got those 3 fields returned when the matching of greater than 30, and I just want the first 2. Okay, so that's one of the commands. And because this is not a structure type, you can insert data using any structure. It doesn't have to match the schema. So let's do the insert. I'm going to do db.demo.insert1. That means you only insert 1 record, and then you just basically put in the record the information here. If you just put blank, it will insert that for you as well. All you have is just the ID, okay, because that's the default. And it's going to be the last ID. So if I search for this field, it's going to show that up, but it's usually the ID in the last one. If I do a db.demo.count, you should see that it'll be 101 now, right? And it's the last one. So if I do a demo.find everything and skip all the 100, then it returns the last one, and you see that that's the one that we just added. Okay, so you can insert 1 only. If you want to insert more than 1 documents, you can do using the insert many. Okay, many here lets you insert many documents. Since there are many, you have to wrap that into an array, a list. So the first record, second record, and third record, like that, third document. So I can say age is 55, and here age would be 56, and add another one called maybe a score of 100. It doesn't matter, right? And then you have here, just say location of I don't know, Chicago. So I added 3 records to that list. It says inserted 3 records with 3 ID here. So if I do a demo count, again, it's going to give me 104. Again, it'll be the last 4. So you can see that even though my schema does not match, it doesn't really care. As long as it meets the qualification is a valid object, then it will insert that for you. So to delete, you can do a db.demo.delete. You can delete one. There's no delete command. You have to go delete one or delete many. And then you have to match the ID field. If you don't put there, it's going to delete the first record it finds because it's going to match everything, right? So since no filter apply, it's going to match everything, but it's delete only the first one it finds, which is the first record. If I just hit enter, you see that 1 is deleted. So the first record has been removed. If you want to be very specific, usually that's what you do it. I'm going to match this ID here. If you want to do that, you can put ID here, or say I want to match the one that has the age 55, the one I just added. So I put here age, age 55, and then delete that record. Okay, so that's been removed. And if I want to delete all the ages of 55, well, let's see if there's any one of how many there are in 55. So find all the age, age 55. Let's see how many there are. There are just 1, right? So if I do a, what about 56? So 56, there are 1, 2, 3 of them. Okay, so if I do a count, there are 3 of them. Okay, so let's just say if I delete one, I just delete the first one it finds, which is this one here. If I do many, then all these 3 will be deleted. Okay, so just to make sure we are correct, so db.demo.delete many, and then here we match the age of 56. So all the 56 matching records will be deleted, and it should be equal to 3, as you can see here. If I turn to find again, that should be returned as 0. There's no more 58. There are a total of, how many have left? 99. If you want to remove everything, then you can do the delete many and then pass in no parameter. That's going to match everything and delete everything. Okay. You see, well, we need a query. Yeah, I have to put a curly's inside here. It matches everything. It's a wild card, I guess. And all 99 will be deleted. You can see their deleted count is now removed. And if you do the db count, there should be 0 left. Okay. You can also use the remove instead of the delete many. That also does the same thing. Then if you want to drop this collection, so we have show collections, we have one collection called demo. If you want to remove that collection, then you say db.demo. There's no delete, it's a drop. Okay, if you drop it, then I'll drop that collection called demo, and now it's true. If you type show collections again, it's no longer there. Okay, and we can verify that in the MongoDB as well. If I go back to MongoDB really quick, and if I refresh it, come back in here, you see that it's gone. So the database is like it's gone, but it's still there. Okay, it's still there because it's no data. So back in here, now because I can see by DB, so DB demo DB. Now notice I don't have to create collections manually. I can say db collections, create collections, or just say db I want the demo back, and I want to add insert one record, and it will be just age 12. Okay, and if I do that, you see that it added into that database collection automatically, even though there's no collection. What it would do is it will look for this collection called demo. If it's there, use it. If it's not there, create one first and then insert that into the collection. So if I do a show collections, you see that now it's back again. And then if I do a demo db.demo count, it has 1 record. And we can verify that as well in Mongo Compass. If I go back in again, or refresh my interface, you see that we have MongoDB back, DemoDB, and then has 1 record in here called H12. Okay, so that is just a few examples of some of the commands you can use to perform operations. We didn't do the update and the replace, but they work very similar. In the next video, when we actually do the actual code, we'll do more of these in the code, how to update and delete and insert data using Express. Now that we have installed MongoDB, the Compass, and know some of its functions, in the next video, we'll modify our Express application and connect to MongoDB to perform some of the CRUD operations.